As the story for The Last of Us and the complications before it's released is developing, Naughty Dog has been taking questionable measures to try and control and silence the people who are against the game by striking YouTube content creators and YouTube channels and giving them a strike to anyone that speaks negatively about the game. Now, what Naughty Dog is forgetting is that in the world, in most countries, we've got the freedom of will, freedom of speech. So people are allowed to express their opinions against something, whether it's good or bad. People are allowed to talk about products, situations, talk about things. Now, Naughty Dog going down this route have actually done more damage to their brand and themselves, essentially. Because before, while everyone probably thought Naughty Dog was a mere perfect game developer that could possibly do no wrong, you know, and I get why they're trying to shut everyone up to try and maintain that status. But the way they're doing it is wrong. That is not the right way to do it, by attacking your fan base and trying to shut everyone up. No. They should have instead maybe taken a different approach to the situation. And what do I mean by that? I mean, let's take an example in the recent couple of years when all this started blowing up with like the SJWs and people, you know, being against like certain types of groups, i.e. white males, you know, female power and all of that. All this started to blow up a couple of years back around, let's say, around the 2015 period, late 2015 period. I mean, we saw the release of, like, you know, in the media, Ghostbusters, the movie, where the main, referring to the classical movie, the mains were now female. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but the thing is, if you watch that movie, you can see slight change. I mean, there were funny parts. I haven't seen the whole movie, but there were funny parts in the movie, but you know, you can clearly tell they were trying to push a message that, and you've seen it again and again in other movies, such as, you know, all this female empowerment, such as, you know, the Star Wars movies, the recent Star Wars sequels, the Terminator movie, the recent Terminator movie, the current Marvel Phase 4 release slates, you know, and even in comics with the Gotham High and New Warriors, as I said, mentioned in my previous video, you know, and even DC, like the new Batwoman and stuff. So it's everywhere, and you just can't seem to escape it. Now, another example is like, let's talk about, like, for example, the Terminator movie. What's the comparison here? Well, if you guys remember, around the time Terminator Dark Fate was about to be released, director Tim Miller came out and with a statement and a quote, something saying along the lines of, "Oh, Mackenzie Davis will scare the shit out of misogynistic trolls," and, you know, all this message about anti-feminist and all of that. And that did not go down well with the fans, and that's one of the reasons why the Terminator Dark Fate flopped. And we've been seeing a lot of these, you know, for the last couple of years, where, you know, production teams and people behind certain medias will come out and, you know, put their foot down and double down on against, you know, the fans or people that are actually willing to pay their product. So, in contrast to that, recently we had the new Sonic movie. How did that go down? Well, when the design of Sonic got released to the public, obviously most of the Sonic fans and the fandoms and they were not impressed. They were not happy. So what did they do? they had two choices: either they go back to the drawing board and fix and try and make most of the people happy, or they could come out outright and also do, attack the fans again, like Tim Miller did, for example. They did the better choice. They took the better choice, and they went back to the drawing board and redesigned Sonic to a more familiar looking Sonic that most of the fans are used to. And they got praised, and they got respect, because first of all, people weren't expecting that. I'm sure most people weren't expecting that, but they did the unthinkable, so people were really happy, and the film became a better product. It actually made money. Yeah, obviously they lost money. It cost more money going back to the design, because all these take time and everything, redoing it. But they came back, having gained more respect probably, and the product was successful. So this is a contrast to The Last of Us now, like Naughty Dog apparently hiring all these this third party called Mosu, whatever it is. Apparently based around London near King Cross or whatever it is. It might not even be legit, but a third party has been going around, striking all these channels, trying to silence people with their views, negative views. And think about this as well. If the leaks had come out and it had been positive, I don't think we would have as much controversy against the product, against The Last of Us. I mean, we've had leaks all the time. I mean, not to this extent, but we've had leaks in the past. And if there's a fandom, if you got fans, and even if leaks ruin part of the game for them, or in this case most of the game, but if it's still a good thing, your fans will still get behind you and buy your product, so they can get hands on and actually try it for themselves. But since the feedback has been pretty much negative, they can't allow that. You can't just expect to have one side of the coin. No, if something's good, people will say it's good. If something's not good and people are not happy, they'll say they're not happy. Go back and fix it, instead of doing all this desperate damage control. That's what I'm trying to say, that if Naughty Dog had just kept silent, or came out and maybe because most people are not game developers, so we don't know how things go down and things like that. Most people, I can talk for, I'm sure most people here don't know how things are, apart from people that's been actually that's worked in that industry. And if you think about it, around the time The Last of Us Part 2 went into production, these were around the time when these feminist movements and SJWs and all of that sources, all that's when they were starting to become a bit more prominent. And Neil Druckmann actually coming out and saying he's fans of Anita Sarkeesian's feminist moves and all that, had an effect on the development of The Last of Us 2. That's why you can see some kind of influence, feministic moves on the final product. Well, we haven't received it yet, but on what was leaked. So if the developers, i.e. Neil Druckmann, came out a couple of months down the line after The Last of Us is released, and let's say The Last of Us was released and it got negative feedback. Okay, fine. You've lost money, because most people cancel the thing, fine. And people that actually bought the thing are unhappy. Instead of currently now attacking the fan base, wait, tell the fans what's left of it. Say, you should have said, okay, wait until the game comes out and try it for yourself. Which is what they kind of said. They said, oh yeah, Sony said that, it'll be in your hands very soon, just look out for that, or whatever they said, quote unquote. I don't remember the exact words, but something on that line, those lines. And when the game, everyone's played the game, and the feedback was negative, we as the fans and the audience will have more respect for you if you came out and say, all right, I don't know like something along the lines. Let's say this was the scenario. Oh, we're sorry, you guys are not satisfied with the final product. Around the time of development, you know, with all these movements that was happening, we thought it would be the best, in our best interest for the game to go down this route, because we thought that's where maybe the industries were heading, you know, like in the Hollywood, the movie industry, the TV industry, the comic industry, whatever. But obviously that has not worked, because if you guys think about it, in recent months it'll be too late to update the game, because it's in such far development that they would not be able to change it. Because to go back and change it would take more time. They're trying to fix the story, trying to create new branches to the storyline. It would be too late. So just soak everything up and release the product for what you had, and then come out and say, all right, look, we done bad, our fault. Yeah, sure, you will lose fans like that, but you will still gain respect. For the fans that you do have, you will still have respect for coming out and apologizing and saying, okay, look, we effed up. That's it. When you make a mistake, or depending on how deep the mistake is, in this case, it's a business and it's a company, so mistakes happen. When you make a mistake and it doesn't go down well, and you come out and own up to it, people will sympathize with you and understand, and if you can explain yourself and it's reasonable, in this case it would have been, because we're in that time period where this is going on everywhere. If you come out and own up to it instead of pushing it under the rug, people will sympathize and understand where you're coming from. It's human nature. But if you come out in a negative way and start attacking people and doing all these dodgy things in the background, there's no way you're going to have people on your side, because they're going to feel rejected and pushed away. Now all they've done is push more people away and drew more attention to themselves in a negative way, and that is bad publicity. It's bad publicity. I mean, and they're the one losing, because there's too many. They're fighting against thousands and thousands of people, or thousands of fans, and there's no way they can win, because they're only a company. Even people that have worked for the company have said, all right, it's not the best, it's not all this classy stuff that people are bound to hear. No, people have come out, people have come and said, yo, you know, all this crunch time, you know, the working conditions and all of that. People have spoken negative about the company itself. It's just that now more people are aware of it, because nothing's perfect in this world. No one's perfect. We all make mistakes. That's the human nature. Things go wrong. You will have more respect if you own up to it and move on. And technically speaking, down the line, whatever the next project may be, would have been, you know, in 3-4 years time, people will be looking back at this laughing, saying, ha, do you guys remember when I made that shitty thing? You know, it didn't even stack up to the first game. People would laugh at the thingy, and because they would have moved on. But because of this negative press you're bringing upon yourself, Naughty Dog, it's not a good look. It is not a good look, and it's not going to work, because people will still speak their mind, whatever you do. It's fair justice and it's human rights. People will still speak their mind. Anything you put out, people have the right to either like it or not like it and go against it. And people's opinions matters. I mean, most of the damage is already done, so I'm not sure how Naughty Dog can climb back out of this, you know. But Sony still has a couple of good first-party developers, you know. Ben Studios are still there, and Insomniac, you know. We're still looking forward to those, but Naughty Dog has tainted their reputation. Their reputation is not as good as it once was. So that's all I've got for this video. I'll keep an eye on how this development goes down, but man, this game, the controversy against this game is not looking good, and the actions that Naughty Dog has been taking, it's not great, and I'm sure nobody was expecting this. Nobody.